Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. I had a comment on one of my previous videos when I was talking about the cancellation of Batgirl, the Batgirl movie. It was a wonderful comment, really great comment. I didn't get permission to use their name or anything, so I don't want to do that just in case it got them in trouble or whatever. But I'll put it up here and you can go back and look for it yourself if you want, because they can always delete it if they don't want the attention. But it was a great comment. It voiced a sentiment that I myself have voiced on my channel. It's been a while since I did though. But the idea that if you cross-racially cast a character, you are fundamentally changing that character. It's a very important point, and it needs to be stated some more. So I thank the person who wrote this comment, because it put me in mind of it again. The last time I had expressed that sentiment was back way before the Batman came out, and we were just responding to casting choices of it, and it came out that they cast Catwoman as black. And I made the point, look, you've got a Selina Kyle already, just in the comics, as she's supposed to be, is grew up on the streets. She's street smart. She had to deal with the, she had a history, with prostitutes and drug addicts, all this kind of stuff. She knows the oppression of the man, so to speak. She's been a victim of the system, and that has helped morph and mold her character in the way she's kind of pulled herself up through that and everything like that. If you suddenly make her black, especially Selina Kyle, given the kind of story she's had, you can't not make her blackness be a fundamental part of her character at that point. And it's not a matter of, oh, that's a bad character, but your race or whatever. No, it's just that that's a different character. And that might be a good character, that's fine, but it's a different character. A black Selina Kyle is a fundamentally different character than a white Selina Kyle. Especially the case of Selina Kyle, because of the things that they go through in their upbringing, and then if you add on to that the experience of having to grow up as a young black girl, that's going to be fundamentally different. And that's the case with every cross-racially cast character. Jim Gordon in that movie as well. And again, people with this ridiculous, but the actor, it's not the actor's fault, because the actor did a great job in that role. Of course, watch my last video. Yes, it is the actor's fault. But, again, that's a fundamentally different. Can you imagine, now, again, I don't want to, let me say this, especially in woke Hollywood, with woke storytellers, or at least storytellers trying to pander to the wokeness that is their boss in Hollywood. In terms of the woke, in terms of the agenda-driven storytellers in Hollywood, they reduce everybody to their identity is their gender or their racial ethnicity, whatever their victimhood punch on their card is. That's what the woke world reduces people to. That you are nothing more than your sexual orientation or your race or your whatever. That's who you are. That's the way the woke world looks at it. And if you're making a movie, whether you're like that yourself as a woke Hollywood storyteller, or you're just trying to please the woke storytellers or whatever above you, then you're going to even feed more into that this character that you took and suddenly made black or suddenly made Asian or whatever, is you can't not make them be molded and shaped and changed by that new racial, or you could even imagine in a sexual orientation kind of a way or whatever, is whatever way you change them, that's going to make the character different. It changes them. And the argument that many of us make a lot of times is, look, stop making Thor Lady Thor. Stop making, Miles Morales is now Spider-Man. No, he's not. He doesn't have his own name. He's not his own character. You call him Spider-Man. That's very important. Instead of doing that, let's actually celebrate the characters who already exist, for one hand, who are minority characters or from whatever way or whatever. Bring them into the spotlight, celebrate their great stories that already exist, and create more, of course, as we said. But the argument that we get against that is, no, it's not enough. It's not enough because you can't just make a Cyborg movie because, that Cyborg's such a marginalized character. It's very important that we have a black Superman movie. That's the way to do it. You've got to associate the main stage. They have this argument, and what does that argument say? That it just, how I voiced it there, it says that these these minority characters that have existed for a long time and have been a real inspiration to people who identified with them and whatnot, well, they're marginalized. They're not enough, you know? Again, Falcon, crap character, not enough. No, he has to become Captain America before he counts, before he matters, which is just such a spit in the face of the wonderful character that he was and the people that he really inspired, you know, by that. It's kind of like when they, when Dan DiDio and his idiocy, you know, did the whole New 52 and they took Barbara Gordon and, gave her legs back. She was Oracle, right? Wonderful character, you know, when the Joker had shot her and she lost the use of her legs. She was an inspiration to so many disabled people because she was still in the game. She's like, I've got these other body parts that work, my mind still works, I've got all of these other talents, I'm not just who I was as Batgirl, I'm not just the kicking, twirling, and hopping, I can also be Oracle, this brand new person who's vital and becomes just, you know, indispensable to the hero universe and the DC universe. Wonderful character, wonderful inspiration. Yeah, she should be Batgirl again. Make her be, you know, punching and kicking and flying around again. That's you know, she's not good enough unless she's that, you know. It's that kind of idea. It's ridiculous. But people don't see it. And this is how I'll end this. This will be a shorter video, but this is, on the one hand, you got people who do advocate, you know, oh, diversity, diversity, diversity. And when they say diversity, it's horrible they even use that word diversity because they're not looking for diversity. Diversity would be, as I said, let's bring up these other characters who are minority characters who have been wonderful characters, or let's create new or whatever. That's fine. What they want to do is tear down what's existing there now and replace it. Let's just be honest, replace it painted whatever color they want that character to be race-wise, or sexual orientation-wise or whatever, you know. That's what they want to do. So they don't just want diversity. They want to tear something down and replace it with their agenda. And that's creating a whole new character. So you got those people that you're fighting against. Then the other people you have to fight against are kind of like I said in my last video, the people who've just decided for whatever reason that this actor or this actress is just somebody they're going to excuse. They're just going to excuse them, not hold them responsible for anything because they're wonderful. It's not their fault. You know, so if you know, somebody like this who normally would stand against cross-racial casting or whatever goes to see the Batman and decides for whatever that they're just, oh, they got to squee about it or whatever. Well, you know, it's, you know what? Black Jim Gordon didn't make a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. It was fine. They didn't do anything. Now, I refuse to see that garbage movie, so I don't know if they did anything with Jim Gordon, you know, referencing his black identity or whatever. I know that Catwoman has at least a line where she talks about Batman as a skinny little white boy or something like that. Don't quote me on the exact words, but that's what she says. In effect, she references his whiteness and the fact that she's not. Even if Jim Gordon in that movie doesn't reference the fact that he's black, it's there. You can't get away from it. If you're a good storyteller, if you're somebody who demands good stories and good integration of plot and good integration of who characters are and how they're built up, and you don't just want to ignore something the storyteller puts in there, you know, you can't just, you know, pick and choose if you're going to really receive the art and experience the story, then yeah, you have to take that into account. And the more they go with that, I think they're doing some stupid HBO spinoff or whatever, they're going to keep up with the cross-racial casting because you've let them get away with it. They're going to keep up with the cross-racial casting. Wait for, I don't know, Poison Ivy to be an Asian or something like that. And again, it's nothing wrong with having black characters or Asian characters or whatever characters, you know. Diverse it up all you want, but either create new characters or get characters from the comics who actually are, you know, those minority or whatever in there. Stop taking out the characters that are there and replacing them with the tokens that makes you feel good about yourself or whatever. Because it fundamentally changes the character. It changes who they are in every way. And stop just suddenly not caring about that just because that movie, you know, hits you in the fifis or something. Or, you know, again, your fandom that you identify with has just decided that, you know, that movie's okay. We're going to support that movie, you know, and not this one and so forth. Because that's a problem. That's what it, that, again, it just tells them it's okay. It gives them permission. And people get tired of fighting, which I understand, but you can't. If you want quality, and people say, well, you know, at least this movie did such and such. Well, enjoy that, because that's that little inch of ground that you gained there is all you'll ever get. And the fact that you said this makes me happy means that the inch that you gained is eventually going to be taken away from you because you haven't won anything. You haven't won anything. You've just told them how much it takes to placate you. And that kind of gets off into another topic because this applies not only to people who are okay with cross-racial casting, but just you know, in anything. They would never stand for a minority character being cross-racially cast as white, or a gay character being cross-racially cast as, or cross-racially cast in that sense, but you know, cast as straight or something. They would never stand for it, and they shouldn't. But how come, you know, it's okay the other way? Shut up, you're racist if you don't accept that. That's ridiculous. That's garbage. So anyway, I can go on and on about that, but I'll stop now. Be back for more later. Thanks for watching, and until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue hero stories you love.